Ellie Wake lived for light. Her friends used to say she was made of color, not just because she was always painting, always mixing lavender skies into ochre mountains, but because she saw the world in ways most didn't. Her small apartment in Portland was her sanctuary. Macrame on the walls, canvases leaning against every corner, dried eucalyptus hanging by the kitchen window. She was 27, laughed loudly, listened with care. She painted at night, went to yoga at dawn, and ran a small Etsy shop that sold dreamy watercolors and prints of women with galaxies for eyes. Ellie had a presence that filled a room without shouting. People trusted her. They confided. She was the one you called when your car broke down or when your heart did. And though she'd had her fair share of heartbreaks, she believed in love the way only artists do, completely and without armor. Her Instagram was a kaleidoscope of joy, sunsets, studio messes, coffee dates with a tight-knit friend group. But what no one could see was the silent spiral that had begun months before her disappearance. It didn't start with a bang. It started with a like, then a comment. Your smile feels like summer. I see you in my dreams. We were meant to meet. Soon. At first, Ellie thought it was just another overeager admirer. She blocked him. His profile disappeared. But 3 days later, a new one emerged, with a different username, a different photo, but the same eerie tone. The messages were never violent. Not at first. Just persistent. Everywhere. Twitter, TikTok, her Etsy shop. Even an anonymous question on a podcast Q&A she did. What would you do if someone loved you more than your own soul? She joked about it to her friends, called him her invisible fan club president. But they started noticing a change. Ellie was jumping at small sounds. She double-locked her door, stopped going out after dark, started carrying pepper spray. In April, her neighbor found her crying in the hallway. I swear I saw someone watching me from across the street, she'd said. Just standing there. Police took a report. No evidence. No suspect. She was told to stay alert and document everything. She tried, but paranoia doesn't make a good roommate. Still, Ellie tried to keep living. Her online following kept growing. One of her TikToks, a sped-up process video of her painting a woman in a thunderstorm, went viral. Her inbox flooded with orders. She started waking up to flowers on her doorstep. No note. No delivery service confirmation. Then came the texts. Her phone number had never been public, but someone had found it. You look peaceful in yoga today. I like your green sweater. It brings out your eyes. Don't be scared. We're the same. She changed her number, filed another police report. They promised to assign a detective, but there was no direct threat. No crime committed. Unfortunately, they said, being weird isn't illegal. She stopped going to yoga. Then she deactivated her Etsy shop. The art stopped coming. August 14th. Ellie's best friend, MIA, got a message at 2:14 a.m. Ellie, did you tell anyone about our talk? MIA, what talk? Ellie, don't lie. He knows. That was the last text Ellie ever sent. When MIA called and got no answer, she wasn't immediately worried. Ellie sometimes disappeared when her anxiety flared up. But by evening, when no one had heard from her, and her art Instagram posted a photo with a caption that didn't sound like her, dread began to set in. The police checked her apartment. Her keys were still inside. Her phone was on the bed. The door was locked. Nothing was out of place, except for one thing. On her studio wall, painted in red across a half-finished canvas, were the words, "She sees me." It wasn't her handwriting. The missing persons investigation that followed was fast and then painfully slow. Portland PD issued an alert. Her social media pages were combed for clues. Surveillance footage from her street showed Ellie walking home from a corner store 2 nights before she vanished. Nothing strange, until you paused the video, zoomed in. A man, hooded, 3 steps behind. He never looked up, never touched her, just followed. The first real break came from a Reddit thread. A user claimed they'd seen someone matching Ellie's description at a gas station 3 towns over. She seemed dazed. With a man. Security footage confirmed it. But by the time police arrived, they were gone. The man was identified through license plate recognition. Michael Avery, 32. Former grocery clerk. No criminal record. No family. Had moved apartments 3 times in 2 years. His landlord described him as quiet, kind of intense, said he worked from home doing IT stuff. What investigators found next made every hair on their arms rise. Michael had been obsessed with Ellie Wake for nearly a year. A folder on his computer, titled Muse, contained over 700 photos of Ellie. Screenshots of every Instagram story. Zoomed-in clips of her live sessions. Photos taken from outside her apartment. One video, dated March 3rd, showed Ellie on her balcony, sipping coffee. Michael was whispering behind the camera. "You're everything. You just don't know it yet." In his browser history, how to clone a phone remotely, how to bypass 2-factor authentication, invisible ink recipe, best ways to subdue someone quietly. But no Ellie. Michael was brought in for questioning. Calm, cooperative, smiling. "I just wanted to be near her," he said. "We were meant to be. I never hurt her." Police searched his cabin 40 miles outside the city. In the basement, behind a locked door, they found what Ellie had painted months before. A thunderstorm. On the far wall, a mural. Her exact painting, copied with crude strokes. But instead of a woman in the storm, it was Ellie. Naked, eyes hollow. Her body was discovered buried beneath the floorboards. Wrapped in her favorite blanket. Her hands clasped around one of her own paintbrushes. The autopsy revealed she'd been sedated with chloroform. There were no signs of struggle. Michael had written a note in a notebook found near her body. "She's at peace now. I freed her from loneliness." The trial was swift. Michael pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity. But the jury saw the footage. Read the messages. The premeditation. The stalking. The control. He was sentenced to life without parole. But the damage rippled far beyond the courtroom. Ellie's friends described feeling like they'd failed her. That the signs were there. That maybe, if they'd pushed harder, yelled louder, believed her fears more seriously, she'd still be painting today. Her family launched a foundation, the Ellie Wake Trust, dedicated to supporting women facing digital stalking and emotional manipulation. They started giving talks, holding workshops on online safety. The hashtag #SheSeesMe became a rallying cry for survivors. At her memorial, MIA stood by canvas, Ellie's last unfinished work. She told the room. She once said she wanted to paint the sky the way it looked when your heart is full and your soul is quiet. That's what we'll remember. Not her fear, not her pain, but her colors, her courage. As the sun set that evening, a rainbow arched over the ceremony. It felt cosmic. Ellie's story isn't just about loss. It's about the dangers women face when obsession hides in plain sight. It's about how we fail victims long before their names make headlines. And it's about how, even in death, Ellie's light still finds a way to reach us.